Stand by, Kevin. Live in Natick. Cue Kevin.
Thanks, Allison. We're out here at Natick High School today. It is still 88 degrees in Natick. High temperatures are in the 90s, and it is sweaty stuff. Now, at the coast, it's certainly cooler, but one thing I want to get out of the way right away, severe thunderstorm warning for Berkshire County. That's not close to Natick, of course, or most of you watching us, but out in the Berkshires, there's a storm moving in from Albany, New York, that's going to be producing some severe weather out that way. I'll have to watch it closely to make sure it doesn't make it any closer this evening. Everybody else is fine for now. It's just one cell moving into the Berkshires. Today is not the big day for severe weather. Tomorrow may very well be. As far as temperatures today, check. I'm here with some Natick High School students and the person who is leading the charge. That's Doug Scott. He's over on the end here. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Scott. Tell us about what we were doing here. Let me start out this way. A couple of years ago, you found a steamship that was sunken in a lake in New Hampshire. You made a return trip. How come?
Well, we discovered the Stella Marion a few years ago with a group of students, and the historical records indicated that there was a barge associated with it. The barge towed cordwood, farm equipment, and the neat part was they actually had dinner and dance cruises at night with lanterns and bands on it, and this is back in about 1910. We searched for a couple of years on the advice of John Dunkley, who's a resident up there. He had heard this story as a kid, talking about somebody had told him about this barge that was scuttled out in this bay, and so we started looking for it. So we looked for a couple of years, and then we had an indication of where we thought it might be, and then we put together an elite crew of students from the robotics club and robotics course at the school, and for the last 8 weeks we've been putting together machines, and yesterday we went up and we got some great footage of it.
And you're seeing some of that footage now. I'm going to step over on this side, okay, so you can see what one of these machines looks like. This was built, and Greg, I'm going to talk to you about this because you were in charge of this one and getting it around. Tell me how you did that.
So this is the robot that we built. Unlike the other ones that we made, this one is made out of PVC, so we can change it pretty easily. And
how'd you control it?
Well, I wrote a whole bunch of software that would actually interface with the board that we have, so we can control the motors individually with keyboards, just like a regular any sort of game. And then we also built joystick type things for people like him who were not as comfortable using the computer.
Threw you under the bus. That's something really interesting to point out, because none of you were doing this for a grade, right? This is just because of your love of what you're doing here. And they actually built these contraptions, these robots, to go down, and the video that you're seeing was all video taken by these. Can you spin this around for us here? In the front, there's actually lights, so they can see the video. Is this the camera right here in the middle?
Yeah, the yellow thing.
That camera was taking the pictures that you're seeing underneath the water. So this group of students would get together and put together this project over, I assume, many months. Yes?
It took around 2 months. 2 months. I was working on it. A lot of it in the last couple of weeks, of course. But
right.
We started off doing like prototyping and thinking of what potential problems we might have and how to fix them, and then we started actually building and testing, and finally like getting the ballast just right so we wouldn't sink right to the bottom.
Excellent. This is really impressive, and I'm sure all of you out there are as impressed as I am that the students, high school students here in Natick, can actually come up with this idea, build these, make them work, and get the incredible footage that you're seeing out there at home, and actually find something under the water too. Guys, impressive students here in Natick. We'll talk more in a few minutes.